Well, for more on the situation in the Netherlands, let's head to Amsterdam to speak to our reporter Stefan de Vries. Morning to you, Stefan. Now, other European cities have had restrictions in place for weeks, and until very recently, people visiting Amsterdam, for example, could say it doesn't look like there's coronavirus here at all. Why the shift then? What's changed, which means now you've got a new set of quite strict restrictions in place?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Rosie. If you walk around in Amsterdam compared to other European capitals, bar Stockholm maybe, you don't see many face masks. There are, however, measures in place already for months, like, for instance, social distancing. People are required to keep 1.5 meters distance, and they do respect it more or less. I just moved here a month ago from Paris to Amsterdam, and indeed, if you compare those two cities, the differences are striking. That is also because the government, in the first place, was following the advice of a committee of scientists saying that face masks in outdoors don't really do anything to stop the spread of the virus. And that's an opinion the general audience had as well. But now, in the last week, the number of infections doubled almost. It's one of the highest clusters in Europe. So the government had to do something. There was also immense pressure from local authorities, from mayors from the big cities like Rotterdam, The Hague, or here Amsterdam, telling the government, please do something about this surge in infections. And now the government has decided in what they call a partial lockdown. So all bars, cafes, restaurants will be closed tonight at 10 p.m. for at least 4 weeks. People are no longer allowed to gather with more than 4 people at a time, whether it be indoors or outdoors. And also wearing face masks now becomes, well, not quite mandatory, because that's legally very complicated in the Netherlands, but it becomes a strict advice. Meanwhile, the government is looking for legal ways to make wearing face masks inside obligatory, but that's not just yet the case. It will take another couple of days, maybe weeks, before the government finds a legal way to issue an obligation to wear face masks. But indeed, it's pretty relaxed here in Amsterdam, but now people are taking this surge very seriously.
You mentioned, Stefan, that some of the population have almost been petitioning their politicians to say, can you put in more restrictions? Does that mean this new set of restrictions, you'll think there'll be sort of a high level of public compliance with the rules?
I do think by closing bars and restaurants, the government is saying, look, this is very serious. And when you see all the closed bars and hotels where you come every day, then you see them closed, then you maybe think, well, it is serious. Maybe I have to adapt my behavior. Now, the real problem is, of course, young people. They are infected, of course, but they don't take it really seriously because their symptoms are very light. Sometimes they don't even have symptoms. Amsterdam, like here, has a huge student population. Almost 1 in 7 people living here is a student. They tend to party late at night, and that's also one of the reasons why the sale of alcohol, selling alcohol is forbidden after 8 p.m. from today. They are not taking the measures seriously, and the government is now aiming their message at them. Please be careful, behave yourselves, because otherwise we will face even a bigger problem. So the measures announced on Tuesday night, effective today, are mainly to reassure the people that the government is doing something. Whether it will have effect, we don't know yet. We will see that in 2 weeks when the government will evaluate the new measures and will then decide either to strengthen the measures or to loosen them.